Leicester 1, Wolves 0. Disappointing scoreline start of the season. But, watching the game, I actually feel quite enthused off the back of that second half performance. I think we actually created some fairly decent chances. It's just that last either killer ball or that last finish just eluded us today. Defensively, I thought you can clearly see that it's going to be a risk playing this high line. But I actually think we defended quite well today, in particular Kilman. I thought Kilman played really well. I thought Hoover looks bright, but I think you can see the difference between him and Semedo. Leicester, you've got to remember, they are actually a really good side. They've got quite a lot of pace going forward in particular. And I think if you were a Leicester fan, you're coming out of that, particularly from the second half, suggesting, they've probably got lucky. You'd probably say a draw would have been a fair result. You always sense Leicester had a bit more quality. But what was refreshing for me was it just felt different to last season. Back end of last season in particular, it was stale, fragmented, and I just felt like there was a little bit of positivity today. And I think the big moment obviously was Adama missing that chance, which was frustrating. Has to be more clinical. I thought Jimenez looked sharp. I think it's obvious what we need. We need investment. We need another central defender, because I think that's going to, if we sign an out-and-out centre-half, it is going to give us that option to play 4 at the back. You wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable playing 4 at the back with the defenders we've got at the moment, possibly Bolly and Kilman as a 2, but you can't see Cody being dropped really. And then as well, just an absolute brute in midfield. I think Neves and Moutinho on the ball today were actually quite good. I'd like to see Neves a bit more further forward. But, overall, it's obviously not nice to start the season with a defeat. And, the fact that the next 2 games are Tottenham and Man United is concerning. But, at the same time, I do feel, quite enthused. As I say, going forward, that's my overriding emotion at the moment. So, onwards and upwards. Sounded like the fans were brilliant on the TV, getting behind Bruno, which is what we want to hear. And it's going to be a big couple of weeks now in the transfer window. Hopefully we can get some extra bodies in, because it's fairly obvious that we just need more strength in depth, particularly looking at the subs bench today. Didn't get a lot of optimism with what we could bring on, but onwards and upwards. On to next week.
I can't believe that we've come away from Leicester today without 3 points. First half, same old Wolves, slow in build of play, poor defensively. The second half came, and I thought that we grew into the game really well. Scary going forward with Adama, and I thought Trick had a really good game. But once again, we're killing ourselves with these chances that we have. We've had 17 shots today, and we've not scored once. I thought that we made Leicester look bang average, and they beat City last week. But we seriously need to be putting these chances away, because teams like your top 6 teams, your Man City's, Man United, they will punish us more than Leicester will punish us today. So we need to punish those before they punish us. Good points to take from today. I really enjoyed watching the second half. Having Raul back, you can see what we've missed with Raul. His hold-up play is incredible. The way he links up with both wingers, but I just really want to see him get the ball a bit more in the box. Adama today, I worried the second half to start with, because it turned into the Adama show again. It was like, give the ball to Adama and just hope that Adama does something. But it wasn't like that. Adama's learned, I think, as well, to knock the ball off quickly into the midfield, or on the overlapping runs to Marcel. But I would really love for him to get the ball in the box a bit more. The one chance that we had in the second half, where he's nicked the ball off the defender and he just needs to pass it to Raul, and it's 1-1. And again, in the first half, he's had that chance where Moutinho's put him through. Just a bit of composure in front of goal. That's all he's begging for. And he's going to be world class for us, I'm telling you. I thought the manager handled the game really well. Maybe a bit too late in the game that he made the changes, attacking changes anyway. Dendoncker for me, Dendoncker and Neves, or Dendoncker and Moutinho is the midfield for me to play. But I thought Neves and Moutinho worked really, really well today. And it didn't hurt us having them both there. But the changes that Bruno did make, which was, I'm losing 1-0, to change it to the 4, bring on an attacking threat. I really like that. And with a few more additions, we could be up there again in the top half of the table. For me, Cody was woeful today. Got beat at least 4 times, turned inside out. I can't really see Cody being that main defender for us. Kilman is the one for me. Sat in the middle of the back three with 2 more. We need at least 3 or 4 more quality signings before we can really have a go this season. But yeah, great to be back. Great to be in amongst the fans again. I look forward to the rest of the season. Cheers, guys.
So, Leicester 1, Wolves 0. Let's start with the first half then. Was not good at all. Just so defensive, so pragmatic. It looked a lot like a game you'd find under Nuno. Just very, very defensive and no real quality going forward. The few times we did go forward, it was just Traore getting the ball and running at the defense, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. I mean, he got a good chance, a real sitter, a 1v1 with Schmeichel, just makes it wide, and you got the feeling that it'd come back to haunt us, and it did. 42 minutes in-ish, to throw in. It's Marcel and one other Wolves player, I can't remember. 1v1 or 2v1 with the Leicester player. He gets by both of them, whips the ball into Vardy, who gets in front of Cody, whether it's just his quickness or Cody's just lack of concentration or something. I'm not sure, but he gets in front of Cody and scores an outrageous goal, to be fair. It was a fantastic finish, but shouldn't have got to that point in the first place. It just should have been shut down by everyone else in there. And then the frustrating end of the first half, then we go to the second half, where Wolves played much better. First 5 minutes were quite good. A few chances came, and then after that, Vestergaard comes on for Leicester. They switched to 5 at the back, and the game slows down a little bit more. And towards the end, it got good again. Wolves had some chances, a couple from Traore, a couple from Trincao, from Jimenez, and then Kilman had a great go. He playing as a striker. He gets around a couple of guys. He has a shot and goal. It's a fantastic block from Leicester, but I really thought he was into this level there. And then Cody scores a goal, which was ruled out correctly for offsides. He was off in that at the 88th minute, but overall, just not good enough today from Wolves, and look to see better in the coming days. I can see that there definitely needs to be transfers made. I think Jean Moutinho was particularly not great today. In the back line, still we need a center back, 1 or 2. It's a glaring weak spot on the team today. Although Cody had a good game, or not good game, he had an okay game. Cody played alright today. It was just it's obvious. Man of the match today was Adama Traore. Thought he was the only one who would get the ball and just go. He went at players. He gave us chances going forward, which was fantastic. And Gibbs White, when he came on the field for Trincao was very underwhelming today. He's been all preseason, but I wanted to give him a shot in the actual first team and for a real game, and he just looks too weak for the Premier League. But Gibbs White looked fantastic for the 5-10 minutes he got today. So hopefully against Tottenham we can get at least a draw, get a result there at home before we go to United, and probably to end our tough run of fixtures. But overall, just not good enough for Wolves today. They had their chances, so see how it goes in the future then.
So Leicester 1, Wolves 0 on the first day of the Premier League season. Great to see fans back in the King Power and all that. The travelling support absolutely put the home fans to shame today. I couldn't hear them at all. The Wolves fans were great as per usual, so it's great to see them back. But the football on show for Wolves in the 1-0 defeat wasn't exactly amazing in the first half. It doesn't seem like anything's changed from when Nuno was at the club, but that is by no means down to Bruno Lage at all, who was quite impressive today. I thought his in-game management was quite good, especially in the second half when he pushed Marcel and Hoover further up the pitch, because Leicester some real problems in that second half. We looked quite dangerous, but overall not dangerous enough to probably warrant getting an equaliser. It's fair to say that this Wolves side really do need some additions before the window shuts at the end of the month. We've got 2 big games against Tottenham and Man United coming up, and we really need to get something out of both of those. Well, certainly one of them to avoid looking over our shoulder during the first international break. I thought Wolves today, as far as positives went, there were a few. I thought Adama Traore, given the fact that he missed a chance in the first half, which is a pretty unforgivable miss because it was a brilliant opportunity to put Wolves in front, and that would have changed the whole complexion of the game, really. I thought he was our bright spark and one of our only creative players, really, today, which is pretty scary to think about because we can't rely on him this season like we did for so much of last season. At the back, Max Kilman, I thought, had one of his best games in a Wolves shirt. One or two dodgy moments, but apart from that, he marshalled Vardy quite well. And Connor Cody wasn't great today, I have to say. The captain let Vardy in front of him for the goal a bit too easily. Marçal getting beaten down the side. You should never be beaten 2-on-1 by Ricardo Pereira, so that was entirely down to the two down the left wing for Wolves there, letting Ricardo get the cross in for Vardy's goal. But overall, it was a pretty drab match. Leicester didn't set the world alight. Brendan Rodgers, I'm sure, will be very happy with the 3 points. But for Wolves, I think other substitutions were made a bit too late by Bruno Lage. Silva came on deep into added time. What can he do then? I think Aït-Nouri should have come on a little bit. Well, should have come on full stop. He didn't come on at all. And maybe move Marçal back into centre-back and try and get Aït-Nouri forward down the left wing in the latter parts of the second half. But once again, Wolves poor today in the first half, and in the second half they did turn up, but you can't go 1-0 down against good teams in the Premier League and expect to play well in the second half and turn it round. We did it a fair bit last season. That's probably what kept us up last season, but this year I don't think it'll cut it. Raul Jimenez, great to see him back in the Premier League. Thought he had a decent game, couple of nice touches. Didn't really get a clear-cut chance created for him. That, of course, wasn't his fault. He can't set up his own chances and put them away like he has done so many times for Wolves. We can't rely on him 24/7 for all our goals and creative moments. Adama Traore, decent again, like I said, but the miss proved a bit costly in the end. But looking forward to Tottenham next week. We'll hopefully have a couple of additions through the door by then. We need a couple of additions through the door by then. Maybe a good strong midfielder and certainly a centre-half. We are still crying out for a centre-half. So I think it's time for Fossen to get the chequebook open because Bruno Lage needs it.